how God expects us all to be ministers, not just the guy that preaches in front. And you can only do that if you have that margin so that you can pay attention to the people who lead you. And as I said yesterday too, it takes strength to be humble. It takes maturity to be self-assured, but also to love others as you love yourself. It's not an either-or sort of thing. You've got to do both, love yourself and love others. Which brings us to a topic that adds to our stress a lot, which is black and white thinking, the either-or that I was just talking about. We probably all know people who are black and white thinkers. It's like it's either this way or it's that way. It's either right or wrong. Usually they think they're right and everybody else is wrong. But black and white thinking really means thinking in extremes. This way or that way, right or wrong. A person is good or they are bad. There's nothing in the middle with a black and white thinker. There's no gray for them. And if you think about it, there isn't that much that's really black and white, if you think about it. Salvation is black and white. You either believe and you're baptized and you're saved, or you're not. That's black and white. Murder is usually black and white unless you're defending yourself, right? Then it's kind of gray. Let's see. What else did I... Oh, yeah, killing another person. There we go. Okay. Well, what we have a tendency to do, especially these black and white thinkers, is moralize our opinions. Have you heard that term before, moralize our opinions? That is where we have a strong opinion. And so in our minds it becomes law. And so every other opinion on that topic is wrong because I moralize my opinion. This comes up a lot at church. Like even for silly things like, can we have communion after the sermon? You know, some people, if they've done it all their life one way and you change it, they think that's unscriptural or something. They moralize their opinion. And I was going to use abortion as an example, but I don't know that that falls into the opinion example, so I won't. But that whole thing, a lot of the things that we get stirred up about at church are because people have moralized their opinions. What difference do some of these things make? And Satan loves it because our focus is now on squabbling rather than on the message. And the message is simple. When you get all out of whack and things get complicated, boil it down to what you know. Go with what you know. Okay, and there's three things that I boil down when I have to do that. And one is that God is who He said He is. And I guess what I'm talking about is when you kind of doubt your faith and you're having a weak time. And you make it complicated, like this church believes this and that church believes that. I don't even know what I believe. So boil it down. What's at the base? God is who He says He is. Do I believe that Jesus is His Son and He died for us? I do. And do I believe that I've done the things I need to do to be saved? That's really the core. And we have this, we're gifted at being complicated, and we make it too complicated. So anyway, but going back to the black and white thinking, that was kind of a rabbit trail. Remember when I talked about loading the dishwasher yesterday or the day before and how people get irate about it being done wrong? That's a black and white moralized opinion. So we do that sometimes too. Our opinions are like noses, and you may have heard that. Everybody has one. And most people feel very strongly about their opinions, otherwise they'd have a different one. So we all probably have opinions that we feel very strongly about. But your stress level will go down if you realize that other people may not see it that way, and that they have just as much right to do that, and probably just as many good reasons in their view to see it their way. But what we do sometimes is, if a decision doesn't go our way, we just take our ball and go home, right? Especially in church situations. It's like, well, I wanted the blue dishes, and we got the white dishes, so I'm not going to help anymore. And, you know, okay, so you didn't get your way. So that would be great if we were all 10, except that we're not 10 anymore. So you kind of try to not do that, the black and white. If I don't get the blue dishes, it's all ruined, you know? So disappointment, frustration are uncomfortable feelings. But working through those feelings with a sense of unity creates maturity. So let's talk for a minute about how to move through uncomfortable emotions. When we talked about boundaries, and setting a consequence. And that involves some confrontation that we don't like. We don't like dealing with people's anger. And the answer is not to run away from it and avoid the anger, but to face it and learn how to deal with it, right? So here's some stuff you can actually do when you have an uncomfortable emotion like disappointment or fear or whatever. First thing you do is take a deep breath. And that's not just a saying, it's like, no, really, take a deep breath. Because that gets you to calm down, and I'm going to teach you how to breathe in a minute when we get towards the end. But really, take a deep breath. And then ask yourself, okay, this is not a comfortable situation. What's the worst thing that could happen if I go into this? Think about what it is. And, usually it's not a life or death kind of thing, right? But then, after you ask yourself that, say, okay, what if that worst thing did happen? What would I do? Think of what you would do. Maybe it's run like the devil and get out of there. I don't know. But think about what you would do. And then ask yourself, okay, what's the best thing that could happen? And be honest, because when you don't want to do something, you'll go, oh, I can't think of any good things that could happen with this. No, there's some good things, especially if you're doing what needs to be done. So be honest. And then thirdly, ask yourself, well, what's the most likely thing that will happen? And again, be honest. Because worst case, we spend all our time worrying about the worst case stuff. 90% of the time doesn't happen. But our brains go, what if that? And so then we get paralyzed. So ask yourself, what's the most likely thing? And then plan for each of those eventualities so you'll feel more prepared. And then remind yourself that uncomfortable fear, whether it's fear or frustration or whatever, it won't last forever. Last time you were really scared of something, you got over it, right? Last time you were really, really frustrated, you just wanted to wring somebody's neck. You're not feeling that way today, so it doesn't last forever. But in the moment, you're like, I just can't tolerate it. But you can, really you can. So, and if things didn't go your way, decide to make the best of the way they did go. Because if you pout and take your ball and go home, well, what did they get you? Well, the ball, I guess, but that's about it. So remind yourself, too, why you set that boundary. Remember, there was a good reason for setting the boundary that they got mad about. So remind yourself why you did that. And then stop thinking so hard about all of this stuff. You've thought through every possibility. You've made sense of it. So now you've got to set it aside because it's not doing any good to ruminate and ruminate. And remember the book I brought one of those days, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway? Just remember that phrase because that's the secret to overcoming your fear, is to feel it and move forward anyway, not to run the other direction. Okay, let's see. The next abrupt shift. Okay, so we talked about like reprioritizing things and maybe saying no to some stuff. What are you doing? Bouncy balls? Where'd you get those?
You might need a visual aid.
You weren't here at the beginning, were you? Were you here? How did you know about this?
Stephen mentioned.
Yeah, okay.
Bouncy balls. So he went upstairs and got them. You can't expect us not to do something when we can do it.
I'm so happy. These are what I meant, the little teeny hard balls. And you can't find them. No. At least, well, if I hadn't waited until the last minute.
Smaller than a quarter, so they're choking hazards.
Very good. Okay. Yay. A delayed visual aid. Trying to remember what we're talking about. Anyway, what I was going to do next was, okay, so you got this situation and you're overloaded, everything's coming down on you, you really can't offload anything, okay? There are times when it's just crazy. And, all these are good suggestions, but here I am all flustered. And I gotta survive through this, so what do you do? So, first thing, make sure you're being honest about it. Most people will say, oh, it would take me longer to tell somebody how to help me than just to do it myself. And I do that a lot.
That's my mantra.
But push your stress down just a little bit and go, okay, could they empty my trash? Could they something? If somebody's offering you some help and you've got that, I call it my panic bubble. It's right here for me. And when I'm freaking out, I'm like, no, you can't help me, go away. But you gotta be honest. It's like, okay, maybe they could, whatever, run this errand for me. hungry, we're out of milk, and then maybe get some milk or something. But try to be honest about it. Just go, no, I'm too stressed, I can't even think about help. So be honest. Number 2, just take a quick step back and prioritize. You know that feeling when work and kids and home and church and somebody got sick and it's all at the same time, right? And you're like, I can't only be one place at one time.
Always at the same
Take 5 minutes, step back, and think about the things you have to do, prioritize. And this is what I want you to do, because it's all swimming around in your head right now. Get you a piece of paper, not your computer. Get you a piece of paper and a pen and write down the things that you have to do, bullet points, okay? Because by getting it out of your head, using your eyes to look at it, and using your hand to write it, you're using more than one sense, and that helps you process it, okay? Plus, when it's in your head, it feels heavy and confusing. When you get it out and you can look at it, it's still a lot of stuff, but you can go, okay, that can wait till this afternoon. You can make sense of it, and it starts to feel better. Does that make sense? It really helps. Plus, if you like to put minute detailed things down there, you can have fun checking them off. You know, it's like blink my eyes, did it, or whatever. You can start checking things off and feeling good. And then break it down. Once you've listed the things you have to do, break it down to steps that don't feel so overwhelming. So let's say, for example, one of the things you had to do this week was paint this room, let's just say. And that just seems, for whatever reason to you, that's overwhelming. So write down, paint this room, and then start writing the steps that it involves. So choose a color, buy some supplies, prep the room, paint it. But I'm still freaking out on the color. There's so many colors. There's like thousands of colors. How can I do this? Break that step down. What's it going to be used for? What feel do you want in that room? Break it down. Okay, blue. I want blue. Well, there's 20,000 shades of blue. So go get some chips. Bring them back. See what looks good in the lighting. Pick one. And then it's like, oh, now what's shine or whatever that's called. What's it called? Or it's flat or
Matte.
matte. But I know what they are. But
Matte.
Satin.
What sheen?
Yay!
What sheen do you want?
Sheen, I had, at midnight last night, the word was right here. Now it's gone. So, anyhow, do you see how if you break each step down until it doesn't feel scary anymore? We've got a step that says, buy bird egg blue semi-gloss, 3 gallons. That doesn't feel so heavy anymore. Paint the room, buy 3 gallons of bird egg blue semi-gloss. I can do that. So keep breaking it down until it doesn't feel so huge. And decide what you can let slide. Now, if you're freaking out about stuff, you're thinking nothing can slide. Nothing can slide, nothing can wait. Everything has to be done, but it really doesn't. Maybe you don't have to vacuum for a while. Maybe you can eat out a couple more times this week and not worry about spending the time fixing dinner. Stuff like that. If you got a dentist appointment, it's just for cleaning, call them and reschedule it. I rescheduled an eye appointment this morning because it was going to take too long and I had to have every hour of this day to do this. But with those appointments at the dentist office, don't wait until the last minute to reschedule because they get really mad, I've heard. So anyhow, get some sleep. That's the last thing you think you can afford. But when you get up the next morning, you will be refreshed and you'll be thinking more clearly. I forget, the second day of this, I think, my alarm went up at 7:30. I didn't have clients till like 11. And I thought, okay, I'll go back to sleep for half an hour, which I thought I did. Well, I must have not turned it on. Because I woke up an hour and a half later and freaked out. I had a lot to do. But I felt refreshed. I could think. My mood was good. I was a little bit flustered, but I thought, okay, it's all good. So get some sleep. And then give yourself an end date to the madness. Go back to that list you made of all the things that you have to get done. Some of them have an end date. If you're working on a big project at work, there's a date that ends usually. So if there is, put it on your calendar so you can see that there's an end. If there's a wedding coming up and you've got so much to do before that wedding, mark a big X on the calendar on the wedding day because after that day, that stress ends. And you can get through that. We all know the people who at their desk, they have this counter or on their phone that says how many, like only 10,400 hours till I retire, right? And it counts down. It's like, 5 years, but they're counting. So on your list, if you can, tell yourself when that's going to end so you can say, okay, there's an end to that. So, balance. I think after all the things we've talked about these past 4 days, you'll see that balance isn't something you just achieve and then you get to slide for the rest of your life. I'm balanced, now I can just slide, it's all good. It's kind of like a tightrope walker. He doesn't find his balance on the high wire and then go, oh, I'm balanced, and drop his pole and just traipse on down for the rest of the way. It doesn't work that way. He's got to continually adjust and readjust to get his balance. And we have to do that too. You'll find balance and stuff will change and you'll change. You gotta find it again. So it's a continuing thing. So that is all I prepared for tonight. You've got a bunch of pages left on your handout. So what that is, let me tell you. These are different ways to relax and deal with stress that you might find helpful. And we'll just walk through it for a second. It's not like a big lecture-y thing, but some of these you're going to go, what? That sounds ridiculous. But they help some people, so try it. If it works, yay. So belly breathing. I told you I was going to teach you how to breathe, so I'm going to teach you how to breathe. We usually breathe too shallowly in our upper chest. And when you're stressed, you're going to do that more. You're going to breathe quicker and shallower. And that doesn't get enough oxygen to the rest of you. So what we're going to do is learn how to breathe through our belly, because you want to breathe all the way down to your diaphragm. That should fill up first. Musicians know these things as well. You want to fill up your diaphragm first and then the lungs. And then as you expel the breath, first that comes out of your lungs and the last to come out is your belly. So what you want to do is take a deep breath and close your eyes. And you're going to take 4 seconds to breathe in, hold it for 2 or 3 seconds, and 4 seconds to breathe out. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Put your hand on your belly, and as you breathe in for 4 seconds, feel your hand move out as you breathe properly through your diaphragm. Okay, I'm going to count to 4. We're going to breathe in, hold it 2, breathe out. Okay, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Out. 2, 3, 4. Do it again. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Out. 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's relaxing, isn't it? Even just stopping for a minute and getting quiet is relaxing. So do that a couple of times a day, even if you're not stressed, to practice calming yourself down. Okay, the next one is the ridiculous one. Well, we're going to try it because it will look ridiculous. So it's called alternate nostril breathing. And I don't know if the science in this is true or not. I read it somewhere, and some people think this works. So I'm going to explain it to you. Supposedly it's an instant calming exercise. Okay, you have 2 sides of your brain, right? You've got the right side that's creative and inspirational and relaxing, and the left side that's mechanical and logical and all of that. And so the studies that this was based on found out that there's a body rhythm in every hour and 28 minutes, the sides of the brain switch function, or dominance, not function, but they switch dominance. And the nostrils reflect this because the left nostril goes to the right brain, the right nostril goes to the left brain. Okay, I didn't research that, so anyway, so what we're going to do is learn how to do this. And some people say this works, so don't laugh, don't poo-poo. So what I'm going to have you do is put your finger on your right nostril, and you're going to, just like we did our breathing a second ago, you're going to breathe the same way, but it's going to be, okay, let me explain it first. You're going to hold your right nostril, breathe in through your left, switch fingers, and breathe out through the right. Does that make sense? And then you're going to switch. Okay, so hold in the right one, breathe in through the left. Switch fingers, breathe out through the right. Now breathe in through the right. Switch fingers, breathe out through the left. Now that you know how to do it, just do it for a few times. And close your eyes and see if it relaxes you. If I was filming this would be so fun. So, what do you think? Does it do anything?
It feels weird. It's making me laugh, which I guess relieves stress.
Together with your camera voice.
Sometimes I have a little odd sense of humor, and I'll act real serious about this and say, now I want you to do this nostril breathing. I'll tell them how to do it, and they're like, oh yeah, and they'll come back and say, that worked so well. Maybe they just thought it worked and so it did, I don't know, but anyway.
Placebo effect is.
Yeah, so, but some people say it works, so don't poo-poo it. If it works for you, yay. Take a time out. Sometimes you're frustrated and you're at your desk or you're at home or whatever, and just getting up and changing your scenery for a minute can help. Get up, go get a drink of water. Switch chairs, switch pens, do something different. Turn on a different light. Sometimes just that change in the ambiance of the room and your surroundings can make a difference in your stress level. And then the next one, next time I'll plan better to bring stress balls for everyone. But you have these little balls that you squeeze when you get stressed, and you know, doesn't make me feel better, but
My ADHD kids at school have stress ball,
Do
and
they?
it really works.
there's some cute ones. I mean, there's some cute
Yeah.
stress balls.
They call them fidget balls, and it works for them.
Yeah. So the next one, break your concentration. That's like take a time out. It's like do something different for a few minutes.
Oh, my God.
Progressive relaxation. That's a good one. So yeah, we're going to do these things. All right. Progressive relaxation means you tighten different muscle groups in your body and then release them, and you work your way down your body doing that. So, close your eyes. I'm going to progressively relax you. Close your eyes, get comfy. Don't have your legs crossed. So just kind of be comfy. It says you can lie down, but probably not here. So what we're going to do, the muscles in your face, I want you to tighten them all as much as you can, squeeze your eyes shut, clench your jaw, and just, and then when I say now, you're going to just release it immediately. Now. What does that feel like? Strange, but it felt relaxing. Once you tensed really hard, then went free, right? Okay, we're going to do some more. So now, tighten up your shoulders, pull them up to your ears, tighten them and your arms and your hands. And when I say go, release. Go. The up to your shoulders thing, that feels really good. Okay? Now try to do your core. This is harder to do, but stop tightening everything in your core really hard. And then I'm going to say go, and you're going to release it. Go. There's a lot of sighing on that one. Okay, now your legs and your feet. Legs and feet, everything, toes curled, just muscles. Release. What do you feel? Stupid. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I don't think this one made it in here. There's one where this actually really works, where you roll your eyes up and then roll them back down.
It's on the
First
On
page.
first page.
Well, why don't we do that? So just roll your eyes up and then roll them down. It relaxes, it's a relaxing.
Oh, roll your eyes.
Roll your eyes up to the top, like look at the ceiling, and then quickly look down.
See, why did your mother always tell you not to?
Weird. Follow my finger. So, okay, roll your head in a half circle. Do that. Stretch. Yeah, that feels good. Now stretch. Let's see. You guys stand up. This is hard to do sitting down. If you want to stand up, you do. As together. Lift your left arm up. Now push it towards the ceiling and pull your other arm down. Now switch arms. Some of you don't know your right from your left, but it's okay. I'm great.
Just look for the
I'm
one
not
that
great. Oh, that feels good, right? Yeah. Swing your arms. Don't hit each other. Okay, all right. Sit down. Sit down and wiggle your toes. That feels good too. So, okay, after all this stuff we've done, you should feel just a little bit more relaxed and less tense. So do that throughout the day. Okay, this is something you've heard from the time you were little about how to calm down before you speak if you're in a stressful situation. The count to 10 thing. It's kind of silly, but it works. So we're gonna practice counting to 10, okay? When I say go, we're gonna count to 10
What
together.
language?
I don't
We
know.
have to get angry
Are
first.
you-
Yeah.
Make us angry, Becca.
Let's see. Yeah, I can throw stress balls at you. But, so let's practice counting to 10 because I'm trying to keep you awake. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Music.
Good.
I'm
Good.
not angry anymore.
I know. That's what I imagine. Okay, this next one is stay in the present. Most of the time, we're worried about something that hadn't happened yet, or we're fretting about what already did happen. So when you find yourself doing that, you gotta pull yourself back to the present. So, close your eyes like before and relax. And think of something, think of a pink elephant. Okay, think of lots of pink elephants, and you're tired of thinking about pink elephants. So what you're going to do to get them out of your head is you're going to imagine that these clouds are floating by, and that pink elephant's going to plop up onto the cloud and just float on by. And next time the pink elephant comes into your head again, put it on a cloud and watch it float away. Okay, just practice that for a minute, because if I tell you not to think about the elephant, you'll think about it. And you do that with worries or with any thought that you want out of your head. And because our brains work this way, those thoughts are going to keep coming back, and you don't want it. So you picture this over and over until they're not coming as often and they're not as intense. You can also, and different things work for different people. You can also picture driftwood flowing down a creek. That's what I do, because clouds don't work for me. So anyway, so driftwood. And if I'm worried about something and I've already done everything I can do about it and I just can't get it out of my head, I just picture it on that piece of driftwood. Some people they blow bubbles and the things float away. You can imagine that you're giving your worries over to God. When you do those things, whatever works. But these are habits. Worry comes in. It's not like you say, I think I'll worry now. You just do. And so you have to work on not worrying. Because you can't just say, I'm done with that and not worry. You've got to practice things that help you not worry. Silence. We don't do silence well. So we go home and we say, I just want to be by myself and have some quiet. But we've got the TV on and we're on our laptop and we've got our phone there too. And we're just like, silence. Seriously, get some silence. They say if you have trouble falling asleep at night, be sure you don't watch television right before bed because it stimulates your brain even if you're sleepy. So it's the same thing. If you're stressed, get all the noises away. No screens for a little bit. Turn the TV off and find some silence. And then I've also got meditation in here. And let me just say, meditation is not some voodoo, hocus pocus, satanic thing, okay? It can be, I suppose, but all meditation is being still, inside and outside. You learn to quiet yourself, which, what was that verse? Be still and know that I am God. Well, meditation helps you be still. And you use that cloud floating thing and that log floating thing to get the thoughts out of your head, because you want to just be still and try not to worry and try not to think and be quiet. Then thoughts come into your head. You'll hear a noise and that'll take you on a rabbit trail to somewhere. You can be a rabbit trail on the log. So there's some information about that. I also want to mention your happy place. Didn't I put something in about happy place? Okay. What that is we all have some place that's totally relaxing for us, at least in theory. Like for some people, being on a beach and listening to the waves is relaxing. For some people, being in the mountains is relaxing. For some people, it's your room at your grandma's house. It's just like totally relaxing. So you figure out what's your thing, what's your relaxing place. And then when things get too stressful, you go there in your mind for like a little while, I don't know. And you don't just say, oh yeah, I like the beach. You use all of your senses. So do that. Pick something. Even if you're like, I don't know what mine is. I don't know. Pick the ocean. Pick something. Okay, so we're going to practice this. Close your eyes. And think about that happy place. And what we're going to do is use all our senses to think about that and to relax. So, first of all, are you alone there? Think about whether you're alone or with other people. Think about what you hear, what sounds you hear, what animals you hear, what things you hear. And then think too about what does it look like there? What colors and what sights? Are things moving slowly or quickly? Think about what you smell. Are there food smells or nature smells? Fresh smells? Think about how it feels, whether you're sitting on some sand or on a mountain ledge. Think about what it feels like. And then just sit there and in your mind experience all that for a few minutes. And it should be really calming. Okay, yeah. You guys can come back when you're ready. So I used to have a manager when I worked at Eddie Bauer. And he kind of had trouble paying attention. He would get distracted a lot, but he used to do this some, but he kind of also used this as a joke when he was just like drifting off and would say, hey,